Educator and student empowerment coach Garlene Hicks is inviting every SEA student to take a sojourn or a sojourn with her leading up to the examination. And she joins us now to tell us more about it. Hello, Garlene, how are you?
Hi, I am great. Thank you so much for having me.
The pleasure is ours. Now, before we go any further, the initiative started on the 2nd of March. Does this mean that anybody who's late to the party, they need to look another time, or can they still join?
They could come to the party at any time, So we're on day 4. However, there are 96 more days to go. So they can come in and they are still going to be able to access what the series has done so far. So they can come in.
All right, so with that in mind now, now we have that off of the table. What is the SEA Journ about?
So SEA Journ-100. Now this has been germinating in my heart for many, many, many years. Last year I held the first workshop. It was called SEA Ready Workshop, and the SEA actually means self-emotion awareness. So from last year to now, I knew that I really desired more children to be a part of this program. So this year I decided, listen, I need to reach more children. So the best approach would be to start a group and get the children to come in and get their parents to come in, so that every child in Trinidad and Tobago doing the SEA can benefit from this series and this initiative.
But something I find interesting, Garlene, is the fact that you teach in secondary school. But if you're teaching in secondary school, how come you're dealing with the SEA children?
Well, before they get to me, they are in primary school, aren't they? So the thing is, I actually taught primary school children. I did tutoring for many, many years. So I've always had a soft spot for the younger ones, especially as they transition to come into the secondary school system. So this is a beautiful gap, it's a lovely niche, because I think it'll be excellent to be able to influence them even before they get to secondary school. So that's why my heart really is with the younger ones, because I want them to have the benefits of learning about, the emotions and their self and awareness, even before secondary school and far beyond secondary school.
No, I like the fact that you use the word transition, and I think transition is a very important and I think intentional word, because transition in so many phases, moving from one school to another, moving from one perceived level of maturity and adulthood to another. And many times we'd like that person to kind of hold our hand and tell us this is how it is. Is that something that you see that you're able to do, kind of saying, okay, well, I know how it is. I operate in this environment and I have the soft spot, the sweet spot for these children. So is it easier for you to be that bridge?
Absolutely. And I'll tell you something else. I think for someone who has for many years, I managed anxiety for many years. And I still think that I am in the process of doing that. And I believe that is where this passion stems, because I have seen and I've had interviews and chatted with many, many, many children, and the stories that I hear about the experience during SEA preparation, it's really heartbreaking. You hear about children who they get up in the night before SEA and they're shaking and they're crying and they're nervous and they have anxiety and panic attacks. And this for me is something extremely serious that we cannot overlook any longer. So I definitely believe that I can help and guide them through this process.
Now, in terms of being able to deal with those emotions, there are two things that I recently saw. One is from you, so we come into it, but I recently heard someone talking about emotions should be data or used as data, not directives. And with that little nugget, you also gave us an acronym or use SEA as an acronym. So take us through that acronym, thanks.
For this particular program, S is self, E emotion, and A awareness. So during this journey, because we mentioned it's SEA Journ, so it's a journey. So it's a journey of self-discovery. So the children are going to learn more about themselves, learn about how they interact, what some of their opinions are about various topics that deal with them and deal with their emotions. So emotionally, we're trying to get them more equipped to understand their emotions. And just on a whole, this will enhance their overall awareness. So it's really, it's multifaceted, and it directly impacts any individual, especially these young kids who are embarking on the SEA examination.
Let me chuck some fire there, Ms. Hicks, because I can imagine a teacher or a parent rather saying, but wait now, it's not literacy, it's not creative arts, it's not writing, it's not mathematics that this young lady talking about. What are you focusing on, and what's the importance of doing that in addition to a lot of work that no doubt would already be undertaken by both parents, teachers, students?
Well, they're preparing for the SEA, so it's academically focused, and obviously we want every child, we want them to do well. But we have to understand that in conjunction to that, you have to ensure that the child is equipped emotionally to handle the academic aspect of it. So for me, it's one and the same. I feel like we've been focusing a lot on the academic part. We're not focusing on the emotional aspect, all of which contribute to the mental self. So this particular series is trying to hone in on that particular component a little bit more.
And one of the things that people discount, I guess, to everyone's detriment, is emotions and your mental state and how it leads to performance. Because you already have a situation where you have an individual thinking, okay, well, I may be going to another school where that my current friends aren't going to. And even within this space and sphere of this pandemic, so I'm not seeing my friends at this point in time. I might be seeing them in class, but we're not interacting that much. I'm going to be going to another school. I'm not sure what I'm going to be seeing there. I'm not sure if I prepared properly. And there's so much uncertainty. And I think it's something that it will do well for individuals to help bolster themselves as individuals, ground themselves as people within themselves in order to go forward and do better and perform, which they have in themselves, but sometimes we can hold ourselves back.
No doubt. And definitely the program, and based on the response that I received thus far, parents are really, really happy. And I want to just encourage the parents to really hold their children's hand through this process. So SEA Journ-100, it's targeted, of course, to the young children who are doing the SEA, but I think it is a beautiful opportunity as well for parents to become more actively involved. So some of the different activities that we'll be having, parents can be a part of this and they can engage in that relationship.
And we want to talk about some of those activities. I think I want to do it on the other side of the break, So we take that break now. We come back. We're speaking with Garlene Hicks about SEA Journ-100. Stay with us. Welcome back. We are speaking with educator and student empowerment coach Garlene Hicks about SEA Journ-100. Now, even before we get into activities and feedback that we've gotten so far, or that you've gotten so far, Garlene, how do people become a part of this group? Where is the group? How do people get onto it?
Okay, so it's a Facebook group. It's a private group. So you can go to the link www.facebook.com/groups/SEA Journ-100. That's SEA Journ-100. And once you come to that link, you'll be asked a couple of questions before we allow you to come into the group.
Now, what are some of the activities that people find themselves doing or that you've prepared for this group?
So there are a host of activities. Journaling is a very, very crucial component to this program. So every day we have, for example, I may give them a prompt. It might be a picture prompt, for example, something for them to indicate what it represents for them, just to get their ideas out there. It might be asking them about a particular experience that they may have had. It might be telling them about an individual who overcame challenges and is now doing fantastic things in the world. So there are a variety of activities. Journaling is a crucial component. And another very crucial component is the use of affirmations. So every day the students will receive an affirmation, which I've asked the child to prepare a little chest, like a little treasure chest, so that they can use their affirmations each day and they can place it in there. So the idea is after 100 days, they would have collected an amazing resource of positivity. So those are just a few.
Now, if you feel you're going to get away just skimming the surface of the importance of journaling and those affirmations, Teacher Percy coming for you, Ms. Hicks, because you're telling tales. What is the importance of the significance? Because I think journaling is something that is becoming a little more utilized on a widespread basis. But when you say journaling, what do you mean?
So journaling in this instance really is having the child have a particular, say, a prompt, a particular scenario, and they think about and they process what it is it means to them, and they write it on paper. So a lot of times, children, sometimes we do not give them an opportunity to express themselves. A lot of times, some parents don't even encourage them to hear the opinions of their children. So journaling is that opportunity where the child can engage with their thoughts, and they can see their thoughts on paper. And by reading that, it really does, it enhances, it triggers a sense of self-confidence, knowing that, you know what, I can have an opinion about something.
Now, you speak of the child engaging with themselves, and I see the affirmations as an opportunity for parents to engage with their children. Is this something that you're working towards to saying, okay, well, there's spin-off effects from people being a part of the group?
Without a doubt, as I mentioned before, definitely I would really love and encourage the parents to be a part of this, so they can also go on this journey, on this sea voyage. So parents absolutely will become a part of this, and they could also work with their children to develop a stronger relationship. And I think that a lot of the preparing for the SEA examination, it's, as we know, it's academically focused. There are some parents who don't feel equipped to assist their children with their academics. But here's something that they can help them with. And this is just, every individual, we all have emotions. We all want to be heard. We all have opinions. So it's a beautiful opportunity to create dialogue between the child and the parents.
And sometimes all you need is that spark to fan it into a flame. But
absolutely.
Is there cost attached to an initiative like this, Ms. Hicks? In terms of do parents need to pay, or how does that work?
There's absolutely no cost involved.
Say it again.
The parents and the child, they come to the link that I identified, www.facebook.com/group/SEA Journ-100, answer the questions. Once the administrators see that you've responded to all the questions, you are free to come in. So this is an amazing resource, and one that I do not think you want to miss.
I just had to say that for the people. Say it once more for the people in the back, please. You're saying it's absolutely free.
It is absolutely free. You do not want to miss this opportunity. You do not want to miss this.
But what kind of work goes into a labor love like this, Ms. Hicks? Because this is something, as you said, is free. This is something that doesn't seem as though you're able to snap your fingers and it just magically appears. It requires work, and you putting in that work. What kind of work do you go through to say, okay, well, we should have affirmations, we should have journaling, we should have some of these other activities? Where do you get your resources to bring to the table for this group?
Well, before I answer that, I will say that I believe that we teach what we need to learn. And throughout this process as well, I have been learning quite a bit. So I would have various resources online, various groups that I am also a part of. So I get material online, and I create my own, my own resource. So definitely this is something that I feel it's a passion of mine. I know that this is something that I've been placed here to do, to assist these young people, to be an advocate for them. And for too long, we've been hearing about, the emotional stress that children go through with S.E.A. And I definitely think the time has come for something to be done.
And do you think a time like this, during facing the pandemic, where there's so many disruptions, is an opportune time for people to jump onto an initiative like this, saying, because things are changing, so people are getting a little more comfortable, I guess, with change? So saying, okay, well, this is something that we can do, or this is something that we can have our children do as well?
Well, I think that the parents they've wanted this for a very long time. So I definitely think that now there's no better time than now. And I know because, of course, we're doing more online classes, I think it is absolutely, pertinent at this time and really appropriate. And so I think there's no better time than now. And I think definitely parents will jump on board because they all want the best for their children. And I know that they would recognize the benefit of this program for their children.
How important are groups like this for you? And I say that because you said, well, there are other groups that you're a part of, and I even saw you share something that is a bit similar in energy, but this one would have been for secondary school students. So in terms of sharing is caring, I saw you promote someone else's learning initiative for secondary schools. Being able to grab initiatives or share initiatives, is that something that you find important at this time?
Well, you know what, we're all connected. And, I think objectives are similar. It just might be different levels or different age groups. So you just have to cater to that particular level. So definitely I see us utilizing, the strengths of others. I see us supporting each other. I see us networking across the board.
Now, you said we started off asking whether or not people who were late could still jump on and be a part of it. Is it that the information in the group will always be in the group? Is there something that you plan to do with it after, in terms of the way that you curate it? What are you going to be doing with these activities, these resources, this information?
So I have some ideas about it. I cannot say that they are 100% confirmed, but I definitely know that the information, it's such a wealth of knowledge. So I would love it to be utilized in every single primary school in Trinidad and Tobago. And I have plans to speak to individuals who can assist. Definitely, this is not something that should ever be eradicated. And I am really, really hopeful that it will be utilized to impact every single primary school students. So there are ideas that I have at the moment that I'm, working through as we speak.
As we're in the ideation phase, do you have any thoughts of scaling up a little bit? Because I'm thinking if it's good for people getting ready to do the S.E.A, then it should also be something that is appropriate for people who have jumped that fence, so they're on the other side now, and those Form 1s who are still trying to find their way, trying to make their way. Is that something that you think about?
Absolutely. I have done coaching for secondary school students. I've done personalized programs for secondary school students in the past, and it's something that I definitely will be embarking on as time goes by. Without a doubt, I think at every level of education, there are particular, issues that students have to deal with. So maybe the older ones, they may have situations to deal with time management, for example, or motivation, resilience, a host of issues. So definitely there will be, work being done with the older ones. And coincidentally, today I was speaking to a principal of a secondary school about this initiative, and she indicated that she is very eager to have a program like this with her secondary school students. So, the sky's the limit. I think that this can definitely be used across the board with the older kids as well.
Well, Ms. Hicks, we want to thank you so much for the work that you are doing, and nothing but beauty coming from it. And we also want to thank you for sharing with us, making the time to share your journey with us. And we're talking about SEA Journ-100 with Garlene Hicks. And we want to thank you on behalf of the entire news team for being a part of us this evening. I'm DK Rasta. Have a good night.